My name is Kathy McCall. I'm the director of San Francisco National Cemetery here on the Presidio of San Francisco. This was designated as the first national cemetery on the West Coast in 1884. However, its history dates back to the 1850s, along with the U.S. Army's presence on the Presidio itself. We have approximately 26,300 grave sites that we maintain, and there are about 32,000 individuals who are buried in this cemetery. The veterans who are buried here span all the war periods going back to what were called the Indian Wars, Spanish-American War, World War I, II, Korea, Vietnam, and then as recent as Operation Iraqi Freedom. We have 39 Medal of Honor recipients. We have more than 400 Buffalo soldiers buried here, who are the African-American soldiers who served with the 9th and 10th Cavalry. There's so many veterans buried here, each with their own unique history and contribution. One of those individuals is Pauline Cushman Fryer. That's not her real name, that's her stage name. And she was an actress during the Civil War. And while she was working in Kentucky, she was approached by Confederate sympathizers who offered her a sum of money to toast Jefferson Davis while on stage. She did this, but she had also reported it to the Union Provost Marshal. She was fired for doing this, which made her a sweetheart to the local Confederates and made her a good spy for the Union. She toured the South getting information for the Union until late 1863, when she was found out and ordered to be hung by Confederate General Braxton Bragg. But the Union troops took the town before the sentence could be carried out. No longer any good as a spy, she toured the North and even wrote a book, Spy for the Cumberland. She was given the honorary rank of Major by President Lincoln. Her inscription reads, Pauline C. Fryer, Union Spy.
Memorial Day is a day of respect and mourning for our veterans who have given their all. By presidential proclamation, it became a national holiday to be observed on the last Monday of the month of May. Originally, Memorial Day was called Decoration Day during the Civil War to recognize the veterans who gave their lives. Memorial Day and Veterans Day get confused because it involves veterans. Veterans Day, observed on November 11th, is a day to honor our veterans who are still alive, while at the same time we pay respect to those that have passed. But Memorial Day is a day to show our respect, as I said, and honor our veterans who have passed on.
Lieutenant John David Miley was a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point in 1887. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant with the 5th Artillery Regiment. With the outbreak of the Spanish-American War in 1898, he was assigned as aide-de-camp to Major General William R. Shafter, commander of the American expedition to Cuba. He was highly trusted by Shafter, and when the general fell ill, Lieutenant Miley was assigned to coordinate the attack upon San Juan Hill in his place, and would ultimately be the one to give the order that led the famed charge of Lieutenant Colonel Theodore Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. A few days later, he served as one of the commissioners who negotiated the Spanish surrender of Santiago on July 17. In 1900, Fort Miley in San Francisco was named in his honor. We know that today as San Francisco VA Medical Center.
Yeah, as a young man, I grew up in South San Francisco, right next door to the Golden Gate National Cemetery. So when I became a Cub Scout, we used to go over there back in the 50s and decorate the graves that were there. When I got out of the service, I stepped right back into it and went out with the Boy Scouts and put out the flags every year, and eventually ended up being a scout leader and chairing the function at Golden Gate National Cemetery for many years. And one day, a gentleman walked up to me. He was in uniform, a colonel, retired. He grabbed me, I was in uniform, says, "I need your help." And from that day on, I worked with Colonel Sullivan doing military funeral honors. And eventually we formed a group called the United States Volunteers America, brought in other veterans to perform military services, because on the closing of all the bases, we were short military personnel to do all the funerals. To this day, I've done over 7,000 funeral services, and with my group, and we supplement the military, all branches. I'm honoring a fellow comrade who's given his or her life in the service to this country. And the way I look at it is the last thing the family and friends who were at the service will remember about that individual is the final honors that we give to them. So we have to do a perfect job as much as possible so they go home with good memories.
Our nation flies the United States flag at half-staff by presidential proclamation as a symbol of mourning. Also in VA national cemeteries, flags are flown at half-staff on the days that we have burials. It's lowered to half-staff before the first burial takes place and then raised back to full staff after the last burial has been completed. On Memorial Day weekend, we have hundreds of scouts and veterans and volunteers who come out and place individual gravesite flags on every grave throughout the cemetery. And it's such a transformation from when they begin to when they conclude. And to have that coupled with our Memorial Day ceremony, it's very moving and such a poignant reminder of the cost of our freedom. It's a reminder to us to not to take that for granted, to be truly grateful for the price that's paid, not only by those who have given their lives, but those who have served their country and still pay the price today in one way or another. And it's so meaningful to be able to work in a national cemetery and see the history around us and to know that this is such an integral part of our nation's past and present.